My fingers tremble as I type these words, and a lingering ache pulses through my forearm. If I delay documenting the events that happened, the memories might slip away like a fleeting dream. At this moment, the experience is too vivid and immediate to dismiss, and I'm compelled to capture every detail just as they unfolded. It happened on a chilly Sunday evening after the community center had closed its doors. I often linger on Sundays to assist with art classes. Presently, I find myself guiding Isabella Thornton through a series of painting techniques. She requires more guidance than I can offer in the limited time we have before her upcoming art exhibition. But the pay makes it worth enduring the occasional frustration of repeating explanations. Once the community center closes, I face a half-mile walk to catch the late-night shuttle into the town. With winter approaching, it's getting dark early. The lone security guard acknowledges Isabella and me, unlocking the gates to let us out. Isabella, in her usual manner, extends an offer to drive me home, despite my residence being in the opposite direction to hers. Politely declining, I avoid prolonging the company beyond necessity. Drowning out the background noise, I immerse myself with a familiar podcast on my phone. I let my mind drift as I wait at the bus stop beneath the glow of a lamppost. As the bus approaches with its distinct hum, I glance up briefly from my screen and present my transit pass to the driver before claiming a vacant seat. The doors seal shut, and the bus begins its journey, the gentle swaying motion signaling our departure into the night. Lost in my own thoughts, the initial inkling that something peculiar was going on came when my fully charged phone screen started flickering unexpectedly. Attempts to reboot it only aggravated the issue, and the podcast playing through my headphones stuttered into static before the host's voice resumed, distorted and unintelligible, almost as if it were playing in reverse. I squirreled away my glitchy phone into my backpack and raised my gaze. Initially, I failed to register the silence that surrounded me. No hum of engines, no rush of wind, no chatter from fellow commuters, just an eerie quiet. But what really grabbed my attention was the number displayed at the front of the bus. I found myself aboard the 99 instead of the usual 44. If indeed there were changes to tonight's route, I was heading in the wrong direction a long time ago. Contemplating pulling the cord to stop, I glanced out the window into the darkness and realized I was disoriented. The usual street lamps that guided me home were absent, replaced by a dense forest illuminated solely by the bus's interior light. Seeking navigation help, I retrieved my phone, now completely black. Attempting to power it on resulted in a spark that jolted my hand, prompting a yelp and causing the phone to tumble to the floor near the feet of the woman seated across from me. Apologizing as I retrieved it with stinging fingers, the woman remained unresponsive, showing no reaction to the near miss or my outburst. Taken aback, I retreated, tumbling awkwardly to the floor with the seat's edge jabbing into my spine. It was in that wince-inducing moment that I realized she was a ghost. The woman appeared faded, almost like a low-resolution photo with muted colors, possessed a transparency that allowed me to peer straight through her to the metal paneling of the bus wall. I couldn't believe I had found myself alone on a busload of lost souls. Every instinct urged me to run, to leap out of a window onto the unforgiving asphalt below, or jump out of the emergency door, whichever was quickest. However, clueless about my whereabouts and lacking any means to seek help, I clenched my fists, squeezed my eyes shut, and forced my breathing to a slow rhythm, hoping to stave off hyperventilation. The ghosts remained in their own silent rapture. A couple at the back seemed engaged in a wordless conversation. An elderly man dozed with a book in hand, his balding head drooping forward, and among the other passengers, there was a young boy, approximately 9 years old. He was the only one there who acknowledged my presence, casting me an odd smile. A curious thought overtook my fear as the threat of immediate harm faded. Who were these poor people, and where had they been going? Did they all die on this bus at some point? There was no logic, reason, or lore I knew explained this predicament. It felt as if I were a ghost too. The thought crossed my mind that perhaps I had died. However, I was certain I'd remember that. I pinched my arm for reassurance, finding comfort in the pain and affirming my solid form. Though I screamed at the driver, knowing he couldn't hear, the bus chimed to indicate a stop. As we lurched to a halt, I braced for a potential crash through the front windshield, catching myself with palms against the insubstantial smoothness of phantom glass. The small boy I had locked eyes with earlier had pulled the cord to request a stop. When his eyes met mine again, I went still. He approached me, his cloudy, pupilless stare unwavering. The darkness within his eyes seemed to possess its own gravity, wanting to consume every part of me. "This is the last stop. I kinda hoped you wouldn't get on this ride," the boy said. In the blink of an eye, before I could grasp the unfolding events, a chilling appendage wound its way around my ankle, forcefully pulling me down. The impact with the floor reverberated, and a distinct crack echoed in my ears. I feared it was over, that this marked the end. Yet, as I raised my gaze, I witnessed this demonic creature wrapping another limb around the boy's neck. What sort of bizarre bus service was this, where its customers were ghosts and demonic creatures? My only desire was to be at home, lounging on the couch, watching TV. Instead, I found myself on a bus to nowhere, surrounded by the deceased and creatures with an appetite for me. His small hand shot forward, wrapping around my wrist with impossible speed. Shocked, I felt both freezing and burning sensations, a pain beyond the physical. The doors opened to reveal a cavernous, hungry darkness outside, and the kid attempted to drag me into it. Fighting desperately with the creature, I tried to break free from its clutches and attempted to resist the boy's pull. "I'm trying to rescue you from what's about to happen here. Join me," the boy declared. Part of me did wonder if he was genuinely trying to save me from this. However, in the moment, it felt like he wanted to take me somewhere much worse. In that bewildering moment, torn between the monstrous entity and the mysterious boy, I made a snap decision. I felt a desperate need to escape. "Okay, I'll go with you, but what is this bus? All these people are ghosts, right?" I stammered, my voice shaky. "Yeah, everyone you see here died today. And that creature is one of Grimm's minions doing his bidding. See, the bus knows you're alive and it wants to flush you out." The boy seized my wrist, tighter this time, and together we fought against the monster's grasp. The demonic creature, now free from its grasp on the boy and me, let out an otherworldly howl, filling the air with a bone-chilling terror. As we neared the exit, the oppressive darkness outside seemed to intensify, as though the very void awaited to consume us. My heart raced, pounding in my ears as the boy and I inched closer to freedom. The seconds felt like an eternity. Just as we reached the threshold, the doors began to close, the mechanism whirring to life. Panic set in as I realized we might not make it in time. The doors closed with a finality that echoed through the bus. The boy and I stood just inside, and he broke his hold from me. My wrist, red and aching, bore the only proof of the encounter. Nursing the pain, my imagination conjured horrifying possibilities. I wished I had time to call my mom and say goodbye, even in the face of impending danger, like those about to die in plane crashes. The bus rumbled forward. "What now?" I questioned the boy, my voice a mere whisper in the lingering silence. "We need to find another way out of here," he said. And then I saw it. A horrifying display of relentless flames engulfing the front of the bus outside, licking the windshield. Before me, the spectral figures, once lost in their silent existence, now writhed in chaotic desperation. Ghostly passengers struggled in an eerie pantomime, attempting to reach the door as they fought to escape the engulfing flames. An office worker callously shoved aside an elderly lady, leaving her sprawled on the floor with blood oozing from a wound on her head. The bus driver, wrestling with the door handle, found it unyielding as if fused by molten metal. I, too, felt the scorching agony of the encroaching fire. Every gasp filled my lungs with searing heat, and the bus metamorphosed into a blistering oven. "Is this what hell feels like?" I asked the boy. "I don't know. If it is, I don't want to go there," he replied. As the flames licked the sides of the bus, a woman, driven by a desperate instinct, hurled herself against the door, her side absorbing the blistering heat. The fabric of her suit adhered to her body, smoking and burning. In a moment, someone pulled her back to the relative safety of the ghostly confines of the bus, leaving behind a trail of charred fabric and searing flesh. The flames from the front of the bus grew more ferocious, prompting a rush to the perceived safety of the back where flames had not yet fully encircled the windows. I joined the retreat, relieved I didn't have to wrestle for space in the safest corner. The driver, in a desperate attempt, released an emergency fire extinguisher upon the walls, but with the fire still raging outside, its impact was minimal. The fire danced along the roof until the metal yielded above the driver's seat and door, showering sparks of molten metal. A teenage girl, attempting to shield herself, caught in her hair the glowing red fragments that turned her into an inadvertent torch. A man, using his jacket to smother the flames on her head, unwittingly fueled the fire, leading to both their tragic fates. Now the bus was engulfed in flames. The driver, using the extinguisher, managed to crack a hole through the rear window, inadvertently allowing the fire to breach the interior. A spark ignited his sleeve, and the fire swiftly consumed him. Those left inside tried to find refuge under seats or pounded on glass in desperation, mirroring my earlier futile attempts. The entire bus succumbed to the inferno. There was no escape, and I, too, fell to the ground as the encroaching blackness clouded my vision. My knees and palms met the scorching bus floor as my surroundings blurred. A fiery tendril reached out, catching the fabric of my jeans, and the searing heat ascended like a relentless candlewick. Fire became my world. Blinding lights, suffocating smoke, and agonizing burns overwhelmed my senses. The shrill wailing, once a collective chorus, now belonged solely to me. I screamed until my voice faded, my lips cracked and bled. And then, as abruptly as it began, the screaming voices in my ears dwindled, leaving only the echo of my own tormented cries. I emerged from the fiery abyss to find myself lying on cool asphalt. The scent of gasoline and rubber filled the air. Raising my head, I witnessed the ghostly silhouette of the bus pulling away, leaving me in the very spot where I first boarded. Glancing back, I caught the last glimpse of Bus 99 completing its next loop, unaffected by the fiery ordeal. I turned my attention to the other passengers at the bus stop, noticing a young boy who had been aboard the bus with me. He sat quietly, his eyes a mixture of relief and curiosity. The boy who had intervened earlier and tried to save me from the mysterious fate. As our eyes met, he offered a reassuring smile, as if acknowledging a shared victory. "Thank you for helping me back there." "Who are you, and why did you come with me?" I said, the tremor of fear still evident in my voice. The boy's eyes, a mix of wisdom and innocence, met mine. "I'm here to guide you, to help you understand what's happening. The bus was a gateway to something darker, and you were meant to be a part of it, but you've resisted, and now I'll be with you to navigate the path ahead." We walked together, my footsteps accompanied by the soft patter of the boy's shoes. I decided it was probably better to walk home and stay clear of any buses for the foreseeable. Arriving at my doorstep, I hesitated before turning to the boy. "What now? What's next for us?" "Now, you go back to your life, but with a ghost buddy in tow. Any plans for the evening? What's on TV?" I chuckled, realizing that navigating this newfound partnership required a touch of humor. "Well, tonight, my friend, you're in for an art lesson. Let's see if ghosts have an eye for creativity." If you like our content, please subscribe, so you can be notified when we upload more videos like this one.